وحسن عبادتك اللهم أعني على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك يا الله.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dear participants, we will wait for a few minutes until 8:30 and we will start our session. Thank you.
Dan beribadah baik padamu, ya Allah, bantulah aku dalam mengingatimu, mensyukuri nikmat-Mu dan beribadah baik padamu. Allahumma a'inni ala dhikrika wa syukrika wa husni ibadatika Allahumma a'inni ala dhikrika wa syukrika wa husni ibadatika. Ya Allah, bantulah aku dalam mengingatimu, mensyukuri nikmat-Mu dan Allahumma a'inni ala dhikrika wa syukrika wa husni ibadatika Allahumma a'inni ala dhikrika.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dear brothers and sisters, it is with a great pleasure and a sense of duty that I extend a warm welcome to each of you to this Tadabbur session, focusing on deepening our knowledge regarding the verses from Allah. I am Irfan, will be the MC today, and it is an honor for me to be in front of you to get to try this experience. Tadabbur is something beyond listening, pronouncing, or even bringing the heart into your recitation. It is to feel the meanings and embody them in your daily life. As Muslims, it is an obligation for us to deepen our knowledge in Deen, as it is encouraged by our Prophet in the Hadith, "May yuridillahu bihi khairan yufaqihu fid din." When Allah wishes the good for anyone, He instruct him in the religions. So for our theme for this program is Halal Horizons. The Tadabbur Qur'an Series will be held once a month through online session. This program is dedicated to deepening our understanding and practice of halal living. Halal is beyond food and logo, beyond frameworks and products. It is the way of life, the way that Allah pleased with abiding the Quran and Sunnah for us to feel content in this world and being blessed in the hereafter. So I would like to introduce our honorable speakers today. He is Ustaz Abdullah Bukhari bin Abdul Rahim. Before I forget, I would like to share about the topic for our session today. Session today is Introduction to Halal, Tadabbur of selected verses of Al-Quran. Before we start our session, I would like to briefly introduce our distinguished speaker that will share his insights and hope we are ready to absorb all the knowledge until we can apply it in our daily life. So our speaker today is Ustaz Abdullah Bukhari bin Abdul Rahim Al-Hafiz, born in the beautiful town of Kota Baru, Kelantan. He has dedicated his life to the study and teaching of the Quran. He holds a diploma in Tahfiz Al-Quran and Qiraat from Darul Quran, BQ, Jakim, a bachelor's degree in Usuluddin with a specialization in Al-Quran and Hadith from University Malaya UM, and a master's degree in Usuluddin with a focus on Tafsir Al-Quran, also from University Malaya. Since the year 2000, he has been valued faculty member at the International Islamic University Malaysia IIUM, serving in the Department of Tilawah Al-Quran at Center for Languages and Pre-University Academic Development, SALPAD. Currently, he is the Deputy Director of Student Affairs at SALPAD of IIUM. His expertise lies in Tajweed, Tahfiz, and Tafsir Al-Quran, and his contributions in these fields are well recognized. He is the President of Multaqa Asatizah dan Pendakwah Malaysia, Mursyid, and the President of Satuan Fajar Iman Matahari Terbit Malaysia, which operates the Japan Dakwah Center in Osaka. And additionally, he served as a panelist on the popular TV program First My Quran Time on TV Al Hijrah, and frequently appears on various local TV programs. He also accomplished an accomplished author, having written numerous impactful books, including Mencari Unta Merah Jepun, which the meaning in English is finding or seeking a red camel in Japan. I don't know if there is really red camel in Japan, or there is another thing. Maybe Ustaz Allah can elaborate it after this. So, and he also contributes to Majalah Al Ustaz and Utusan Malaysia, Refleksi Al Quran, and Suluh Wahyu have been enlightening readers for years. So, I had introduced our honorable speaker. So, without further ado, I welcome Ustaz Abdullah Bukhari to elaborate more about our topic today. فيتفضل مشكورا.
Okay, thank you very much, Brother Irfan Isa, our fellow friends from INHAT, IIUM, all the participants. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Let us thank to Allah for his opportunity that we can meet here online, inshallah, to discuss the topic of to make a tadabbur on selected verses of Al-Quran. Actually, there was a very long introduction on biodata by Brother Irfan. Even though I'll always see that somehow it is not necessary to introduce me that long. Okay, never mind. Before we go further on our session tonight, I would like to inform all of you that I am not the best person actually to talk about this thing, because INHAT has on the experts. INHAT has on the expert about halal, but maybe because my field of specialization or my forte is on Tadabbur Al-Quran, so that is why I attract them so much to invite me to share the knowledge, some of my little knowledge on Tadabbur Al-Quran on halal, and inshallah try my best to share with you insight in halal based on what I know from the Quran and the Sunnah. And then just now in the introduction, Irfan told every one of us here that I am the president for NGO, non-government organization, that funded when Da'wah Center in Osaka. Alhamdulillah, in 2017, I went there. I went to Japan, met my friend, my brother, my friend, who was doing Da'wah alone. And then after that, 2018, went again. And then after returning back to Malaysia in 2018, we somehow established the company and this NGO, Fajar Iman Matahari Terbit, Sunrise of Islam in Japan, in Malay, the name of this Fajar Iman Matahari Terbit. And then Alhamdulillah, 2019, we managed to purchase one big building in Osaka, Japan, And then 2020 until now, the building or the Da'wah Center, we call it Japan Da'wah Center in Osaka, managed to attract nearly 100 Japanese to embrace Islam. Alhamdulillah. And then that NGO, Fajar Iman Matahari Terbit, actually the NGO that operating in Malaysia, fund the Da'wah Center. Up to now, we have to send to Japan monthly 35 RM, 35,000 RM. Okay, never mind. And then in the introduction, Brother Irfan also said that one of my book, Alhamdulillah, is Seeking the Red Camel of Japan. Is there any red camel in Japan? I don't know. But actually, there was a metaphor used by our Holy Prophet in one of his hadith. Rasulullah said, the reward for those who take Islam to anybody is very pricey, as if it is more expensive than the price of red camel, because among the Arab, red camel is a very expensive camel, nearly 1 million over. So we call this project in Japan, Mencari Unta Merah Jepun, Seeking the Red Camel of Japan is the, for example, an encouragement to encourage people of Malaysia to contribute to help us in introducing Islam in Japan. And in the meantime, Alhamdulillah, our Japan Da'wah Center in Osaka also gave these the guidance for those who wish to involve in halal business in Japan. Okay, never mind. That was the introduction. For today's lesson, inshallah, the content of my presentation will be four topics. I do not know whether it is ample time or enough time for me to explain all these four topics, but never mind, since that this program will be on a continuous program until January 2025. If we couldn't manage to finish within 1 hour on all of these four topics, inshallah, never mind. We make it easy and simple. We continue in the next session. Okay, these are the four topics that inshallah I would like to share with you today. Number one, introduction to the halal concept based on my understanding, referring to a few books on this topic. And then number two, the explanation of the concept al-aslu fil ashya al-ibaha. Al-aslu fil ashya al-ibaha. This is a very important topic when you talk about halal. When we halal is outnumbers the haram. Outnumbers the haram. And then number three, to make something lawful or to prohibit something, to make haram or this and halal, is the right Allah alone. Nobody in this world, regardless you are the Mufti, you don't have the right to make halal, the right to implement on the halal or haram on something is only the Allah's right alone. And then number four, the exploration of halal standard, which become the main focus of INHAT or the Institute of Halal or any bodies in Malaysia. Actually, it's a noble jihad. I rather say the jihad. Why? Because it is part of the effort that very important to ensure that Muslim all over the world consume only the halal food. And then the exploration of the state of the halal standardization is a very noble jihad. Inshallah, we discuss about it. Okay, number one, see, content, the first content, introduction to the halal concept. What is the halal concept in Islam? First, we have to know that, number one, it is very important for us to know halal and haram in our life. It is very pertinent and important for Muslim to know about halal and haram in our lives. Why? Because it is a critical issue. Why? Because it will affect directly to the physical and spiritual being of ourselves. It will affect directly to the physical and spiritual aspect of our life. That is number one. Number two, halal and haram, it is not a mere food consumption. is not a mere lifestyle, but it may result to the happiness or the sadness of your life in this world and the hereafter. So that is why it is important for us to take a good care to be at the highest concern of our life about halal and haram. We cannot just live our life without thinking of it is halal, permissible by Allah, or prohibited by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay. Okay, this is the example. Actually, I put this picture. Actually, the cat, because I have cat in my home. The cat tries to steal the food. Okay, the calamity from unlawful dealing. Okay, this is the story of Rasulullah and one of his companions, namely Ka'ab bin Ujrah. Rasulullah said to him, I seek refuge in Allah for you, O Ka'ab bin Ujrah. I seek refuge from the leader that will come after me, after my demise, after my death. Whoever comes to the doors to approve of their lies and supports them in their oppression, then he is not of me, and I am not of him, and he will not meet me at the Hawd. Hawd is the well, special well provided by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to our prophet and our prophet's nation, his ummah. And whoever comes to their doors, or he does not come, and he does not approve of their lies, and he does not support them in their oppression, the leader, the bad leader, as I said, then he is from me, and I am from him. And then he will meet me at the Hawd. Ka'ab ibn Ujrah. Salat is a clear proof of Iman, Rasulullah said. And the Psalm, the first thing is impenetrable shield. Because when you are doing fasting, when you are fasting, as if you are wearing the shield, the ma'siyah, the sin, the deception of shaitan can be managed in a good way. The sadaqah, the charity, is extinguishes sins just as water extinguishes fire. And then in the end, Rasulullah said, especially to Ka'ab bin Ujrah, there is no flesh raised that grows from the unlawful, except that the fire is more appropriate for it. Meaning by that, if you are being raised or your lifestyle never cares about halal and haram, you grow your flesh in your body from the unlawful dealings, meaning by that, as if you are growing the flash of fire on yourself. So that's why in the beginning I said just now, it is really important for us to take a good care of ourselves and to be very much in concern about halal and haram, because it will affect your life in the hereafter. Okay, there is one hadith. And then we go to the another hadith. Okay, consequences of haram to the spiritual life. Physical, yes, and then also the spiritual life. For example, your prayer, your dua, your supplication will be rejected by Allah. Okay, see this hadith. Rasulullah, okay, we just focus on the bolded one. Rasulullah said, one man, he then made a mention for a person. Rasulullah then tells us a story, or told us a story about one person who travels widely. This one person travels widely everywhere for Hajj, for Umrah. And then because of the traveling, his hair was very messy and covered, and his body, his face was covered by the dust. Okay. And then during that time, he lifts his hand toward the sky, makes this supplication to Allah by saying that, oh Lord, hoping that Allah will accept his supplication. And then Rasulullah said in the end, whereas his diet is unlawful or haram, his drink is haram, and his clothes are haram, and his nourishment is haram, how can then his supplication be accepted? Okay, based on this hadith, what is extreme, we can see three situations. Okay, these three special situation for the supplication to be answered by Allah almost instantly. For example, because in this hadith Rasulullah said there are three supplications easily answered by Allah. Okay, that a father make a dua to the children, and then da'watul musafir, the supplication or the prayer of the traveler, those who come from musafir, and then those who have been oppressed. Okay, in that particular hadith just now, this man is traveling, maybe for the Hajj, for Umrah, for anything else. And then as if he makes a dua, instantly Allah will answer his dua because he somehow fulfill one of these special situation for this application to be answered by Allah. Number one. Number two, in the said hadith just now, Rasulullah said that that person who is messy, dusty during his prayer, showing that he is very humble in his dua. Then by that characteristic, somehow Allah will easily answer his dua. And then number three, the third special situation is lifting his hand. Because Allah is the living, the most generous, the most generous. When a man raises his hand to him, he feels too shy. Allah himself feels too shy to return them to him empty-handed, his dua, or rejected. So by looking to these three criteria, as if this person, this man in this hadith, he is now traveling. Okay, one criteria. If he fulfill this criteria, he make a dua, Alhamdulillah, inshallah, Allah will answer instantly. And then he also show his humbleness. His hair was messy, his face, his body is covered by the dust. And then number three, he show his struggle in dua by lifting his hand. Even though he fulfill all those three criteria, special situation that Allah will answer the dua almost instantly, but his dua is totally rejected. Why? Because due to his unlawful lifestyle. So that's why the main concept, as I said earlier, in the introduction just now, the involvement of your life with the haram and the halal will somehow affect your physical and your spiritual life. Okay. Okay, this one is about another dua. Sa'ad bin Abi Waqqas. Sa'ad bin Abi Waqqas, he met Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then he said, "Oh Rasulullah, dia kata, Udu Allah an yaj'alani mustajabat da'wah." Oh Rasulullah, pray to Allah because you are the man of Allah. Whenever you make your dua, Allah will surely answer your dua. Pray to Allah, Ya Rasulullah, that so that I become the one whose prayers is answered by Allah. And the Rasul said, okay, in order to achieve that level, your dua will be instantly answered by Allah, almost without any obstacle. In order to achieve that level, what you have to do? You have to purify your source of food or sustenance. Why? Because by doing that only, you will become the one whose prayers is answered. Or otherwise, your dua, your supplication will be rejected if you involve in anything which is haram or prohibits by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that is why it is important for us to consume or to involve only in halal. Okay. Okay. What is good about Islam is that even though Allah, in certain ayah or certain situation, Allah prohibits something, Allah make unlawful or haram on something, Allah will not just leave it like that. Allah always provides the alternative. Why? Because this is a long ayah, long ayah in the mind. And then among, see, the last ayah, Allah say, يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ أَن يُخَفِّفَ عَنْكُمْ وَخُلِقَ الْإِنسَانُ ضَعِيفًا. And it is Allah's will to lighten your burdens. Among the burdens that you need to consume food, you need to live your life by taking food, by living your life in this world. And then Allah explain everything, give you alternatives for your life, how to survive in this world. Why? Because Allah said, for humankind was created weak. Allah knows that we are weak, so we need something. For example, see, Allah prohibits something but provides the alternative. Allah prohibits riba or the riba interest, but allows profitable trade. Allah prohibits adultery, but He somehow allows marriage. Prohibits silk for men, but allows cotton, linen, and wool. Prohibit gambling, but allows normal competition without the gambling. And then many more, many more. Okay, if you are accepting the halal, somehow you are doing showing your gratefulness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you are accepting halal, because in this hadith said, Rasul said, what Allah has made lawful in His book is halal. What He has forbidden is haram. And that concerning which He is silent is allowed at his favor. So accept from Allah his favor. For Allah is not forgetful of anything. And then Rasulullah confirmed his word by reciting this ayah. وَمَا كَانَ رَبُّكَ نَسِيًّا. Remember, and your Lord is not forgetful. For example, certain thing is mentioned as haram in the Holy Quran or in the Hadith. And then another thing, it is Allah kept it silence without mentioning either halal or haram. So you do not go deeper inside the situation to put the burden in yourself by asking which is not necessary for you. So you just accept Allah, what is mentioned by Allah is halal, halal. What is mentioned haram and haram. So you just leave the haram, continue with the halal. Okay. Okay, never mind this one. I skip this one. Okay, first. We finished the first part. We finished the first part, content of the presentation, introduction to the halal concept. Okay, in a very short way. Okay, number 2. The explanation of the concept of al-aslu fil asya'i al-ibaha. Al-aslu fil asya'i al-ibaha. This is a very important concept. Okay, what is that? Okay. Okay, in Arabic, أن كل ما على الأرض من منافع وما استخلصه الإنسان منها فالانتفاع به مباح ما لم يقم دليل على تحريمه. Okay, the meaning of this maxim, of this term, everything on this earth which are beneficial to human being is permissible for them to use, to consume, to take, anything except which are announced to be unlawful or haram from the strong and sound religious text. Okay, the example. Okay, in Islam, the sphere of prohibited things is very small, while that of permissible thing is extremely vast. Okay, this first concept, okay, I took this from the book of Qaradawi, Al-Halalu wal-Haram fil Islam. Okay, the first principle established by Islam based on Quran and Hadith is that the things which Allah has created and the benefits derived from them are for men's use. It is for us. The tree, the animal, everything in this world, and hence are permissible. You can use that. Nothing is haram except that what is prohibited by a sound, a strong and explicit nas from Quran and Hadith. Okay, if the nas is not sound, for example, Hadith da'if, or this verses of Al-Quran do not refers directly to the prohibition of certain issues, you can just say that is haram. It must be with a very strong and sound nas from Al-Quran. Okay. And then if you refer to the Holy Quran, actually I would like to use this slide on this topic of this ayah. I will explain elaborate this ayah in our next session, because in our next session, inshallah, I'll be discussing with all of you on the issue of halal and haram and food consumption. But never mind. So based on this ayah, Allah say, إنما حرم عليكم الميتة والدم ولحم الخنزير وما أهل به لغير الله. He has only, okay, remember the word of إنما. If you learn Arabic, we call it Adatul Hisri. Adatul Hisri. What is that? Whenever you open the Mus'haf and then you have the word of innama, meaning by that Allah wants to limit something on the issue. Other than what is being limited by Allah, is okay. For example, Allah say, innama harrama alaykum. He has only, okay, innama we can say only. By using this innama, only these are the forbidden foods for us to consume. So that is why innama is very important. To learn Arabic, to know Arabic, to know the real meaning of certain ayah in the Holy Quran, or to support the concept just now, al-aslu fil ashya' al-ibaha. This is this is the evidence. Allah say, innama, he has only, innama is only, forbidden for you to eat carrion, blood, swine, and what is slaughtered in the name of any other than Allah. Meaning by that, these are only the forbidden food for us to consume. Other than these four, ya Allah, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, then you can eat, you can consume. Because as I said just now, here, the sphere of prohibited things in Islam is very small. One, what is permissible, what is halal is extremely vast. Why? Because Allah only mentioned which is haram, limit them on a few things. And in another ayah, Surah Al-Ma'idah, yeah, Allah say specifically only 10 items. So based on this ayah, in certain madhab, if I'm not mistaken, madhab Maliki, certain madhab, they say only these 10 items is prohibited or forbidden by Allah for us to consume. Other than these 10 items, it is halal. It is halal for you. But in madhab, certain madhab, for example, madhab Shafi'i, they go deeper on the discussion of what is halal and haram. For example, for those animals who live just like the frog, to life. They live in the water or on the land. Live in between these two, so the food or the flesh, the meat is not permissible. As a certain apa madhab, for example, madhab Shafi'i. But in certain madhab, it is mentioned clearly that only this 10 item, which is haram, made haram by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Other than this 10 item, you will have the full liberty, full freedom to eat, to consume them. So that is why this, the first concept, al-ashu fil ashya, al-ibaha, you have to know before you are discussing about halal and haram. So meaning by that, in our muamalah, in our daily life, we can eat, consume, take anything which is beneficial for Allah, beneficial for us from Allah, except for those who had been prohibited or forbidden by Allah from the certain verses of Al-Quran. Okay, never mind, finish. Okay, evidences from Al-Quran and the Hadith on the concept al-aslu fil ashya al-ibaha. Because our scholars, the moment they made the ruling, they said something about Islam, with the ruling of Islam, for example, those kaidah, those methodology maxim just now, al-aslu fil ashya al-ibaha, they are not making that up without the evidence. And these are the evidence. Allah said in Surah Al-Baqarah, وَالَّذِي, it is He, Allah, خَلَقَ لَكُم مَا فِي الْأَرْضِ جَمِيعًا. It is He who created for you, O human being, humankind, everything on this earth. He created everything on this earth for you to take full benefit of it. So you just take full benefit of it without feeling bad, because it is made by Allah for you, except you shouldn't consume those been specified by Allah in the Holy Quran. Other than this 4 or this 10, as mentioned just in Surah Al-Ma'idah, it is halal for you. Using this, by using the proper concept. For example, even though it is in this world, what is created by Allah in this one is for you to consume, for you to take a full benefit, but still you have to make sure that you are not trespassing others. For example, you see the rambutan somewhere in some place. You say, oh, Allah said, Huwa alladhi khalaqa lakum ma fil ardi jami'a. It is halal for me to consume. No, not meant by that. It is halal for you, but with the proper permission from the owner of that tree. So that's the meaning. Do not misuse this concept or this ayah. Okay. And then another ayah. And this in Surah Luqman. Very interesting. Allah said, Alam taraw. Do you not see? Anna Allah sakhkhara lakum ma fil samawati wa ma fil ard. How God, Allah, placed at your service. Sakhara ni macam tunduk sebenarnya. Sakhara is to make easy for you to use. How God placed at your service everything in the heavens and the earth. Meaning by sakhara, God placed at your service, Rasulullah subhanahu wa ta'ala not only provide everything for us, but He also provide us with the knowledge. For example, previously, human being never think of the solar system. And then Allah gave them knowledge. They can harvest the solar system. They can harvest the wind, the energy from the solar, from the wind, from the turbine, water turbine. Why? Because Allah gives you or gives us the knowledge. And then somehow sakhara, place at your service everything in this earth, also meaning by that Allah is not only created all of this heaven, but Allah also give you the inspire you to do research, to find a new knowledge on the energy or everything. So that is the meaning of sakhara lakum. Sakhara ni to tunduk to Allah, how God placed at your service everything in this heavens and this earth. And then وَأَسْبَغَ عَلَيْكُمْ نِعَمَهُ ظَاهِرَةً وَبَاطِنَةً, and how he showered you with his blessing, both outward and inward. So the scholars of tafsir, they discuss somehow what the meaning ni'mah zahira or ni'mah batina. Zahira, what it can be seen from the outside, among the meaning. Okay, ni'mah zahira, you have your two eyes at the same level, huh? Irfan, your two eyes, your eyebrows at the same level. And then your ears at the same level. And then you have a long, the same level, you have the same hand. Zahira can be seen. Batina from inside. What cannot be seen, but the iman, for example, the ni'mah zahira. Everything in this world created by Allah for you. And then another hadith, another ayah. Allah said, وَسَخَّرَ لَكُم مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَا فِي الْأَرْضِ جَمِيعًا, and he pays at your service whatever is in the heavens and whatever is on earth. All is from him. And this is among the verses of Al-Quran that show to us that we are permissible to use anything in this world in a proper way. Okay. Okay, beside that, this is al-asl fil ashya al-ibaha, that includes the issue of our life. Our life, eating, working, consuming food, living our life in this world. In Islam, it is widely open. You can do anything except for those being prohibited by Allah. You shouldn't consume these foods. But in ibadah khasa, in the sphere of prescribed worship of ibadah, it go opposite way, because they have this concept, al-aslu fil ibadat at-tawqif or at-tahrim. The origin of worship is to hold, is to prohibit, meaning by that we are not allowed to invent, to create any specific ibadah, a promise to anybody, any specific reward on it without some verification from Al-Quran Sunnah. For example, I say to you, oh Irfan, or everybody here, you read this dua, because this dua I was inspired by my dream. In my dream last night, I met Rasulullah, and Rasulullah said to me, okay, recite this dua inside your subuh prayer after the second rukun, or after your second sujud. Recite clearly, loudly, when you are performing your sujud. And then if you are doing this, Allah will reward you with the highest level of paradise in the hereafter. And then I say to all of you, you have to make the dua, a special dua, because I took this dua last night in my dream. I saw Rasulullah in my dream. Is it permissible or not? No. Because in the sphere of prescribed ibadah or ibadah khasa, it is very limited. Very limited. It go opposite way from the al-muamalah. So on your topic, on this topic, for the participants of this program tonight, you don't have to be worried, because it is go on the ibadah. For our part, we just stick to al-aslu fil ashya al-ibaha. Why? Because why do I need to include this slide? Because to show all of us, because it is part of our responsibility in living our life in our religion. You have to be clear about muamalat, which is very vast, very wide and vast. You can do anything, because except for those being prohibited by Allah. But in our ibadah, it is very small, the very limited. In the sphere of ibadah is very limited. So you have to be careful. You have to be careful. You have to distinguish between these two issues. Okay, never mind. Okay, the third one, to make lawful or to to prohibit is the right of Allah alone. See? The lawful halal and to prohibit the haram in Islamic Sharia is not a simple matter. It is not for us human beings to decide what is lawful and what is prohibited. Not even the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, through his own personal judgment, that depend on no divine source. No, everything related to halal and haram is only called by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, admire. Okay, one good thing about this hadith, inshallah, in our last session, I was informed by Dr. Yuslida, our last session will be a physical session on campus. Okay, will be physical session on campus. So I am planning, in preparing the content for our continuous 5 sessions of this Tadabbur Al-Quran. Actually, I'm preparing for the last session will be physical session in our university discussing about mainly this hadith, the devil's hand, the shaitan's hand, the involvement of shaitan in haram and halal. Because there was a very interesting topic. Because my first book, I wrote my first book in 2012, the satanic verses, verses of shaitan, long time ago. And then I rewrite the book, Perang Guerrilla Warfare with the Shaitan. And then when I did my research on that book, during my time writing that book, I made a lot of research based on Al-Quran and Hadith. I found that even though it is sounds superstitious, khurafat to some of you, but shaitan actually has a very vast influence in halal and haram. And inshallah, because of that, inshallah, our last session, physical session, will be on this topic. But as an introduction to the discussion of to make lawful or to prohibit something is the right of Allah alone, we have to first discuss on this hadith. This is hadith Qudsi. Hadith Qudsi, meaning by that Rasulullah narrated this hadith directly from Allah, but it is different from the Holy Quran. What is the difference between hadith Nabawi, hadith Qudsi, and the Holy Quran? Hadith Nabawi is the word of our Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Al-Quran is the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala directly. And then hadith Qudsi is the word of Allah, but uttered or designed. The word was described by our Holy Prophet. So as if we say that hadith Qudsi is like the word of Allah, but in being elaborated by our Holy Prophet in his word. And what is the difference between hadith Qudsi and Al-Quran? Al-Quran, you will be rewarded for each and every letters. For example, you recite the Holy Quran. اتخذوا أحبارهم ورهبانهم. You will be rewarded for every single letters. One reward. But for hadith Qudsi, since that it is not the Holy Quran, you will be rewarded collectively if you practice or if you implement the content of the hadith. So that is the difference between hadith Qudsi and Al-Quran. Okay, this is hadith Qudsi. Rasulullah said, Allah mentioned to him, Allah said, I have created my servants as one having a natural inclination to the worship of Allah. It is about the fitrah. It's about the fitrah. But it is shaitan who turns them away from the right religion, and shaitan makes unlawful what has been created, declared lawful for them. And he commands them to ascribe partnership with me, although he has no justification for that. Okay? Allah said this is haram. This is halal. But shaitan goes different ways. Shaitan goes different ways. No, this is haram. For example, gambling or wine is haram if you do not have the license to sell it. But if you have the license, it's okay. See, the shaitan said that. Otherwise, vice versa, something like that. So we have to know that only Allah alone has the right to say this is haram or halal. But in the meantime, shaitan came along, and then he tried to rebut Allah on this issue. Okay. Okay, this is the story of this one guy. Curse be on him. Saya say, la'natullah alayhi. Curse be on him. Why? Because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in this hadith, Rasulullah performed the escape prayer, solat gerhana. And then after finishing the prayer, and then he narrated or he mentioned this hadith. He said, "Ra'aitu Amr bin Luhay bin Qam'ah bin Khindif yajurru dragging qusbani bones ataupun usus in the hellfire." Why? Why? This is very important. The figure in Islam. Why? Because he was the first man in Mecca. Actually, his time was long before the time of our Holy Prophet. Okay, as we know, Mecca was established by Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. Among the teachings of Ibrahim alayhi salam, you shouldn't worship other than Allah. And then this is haram, this is halal. And then after that, this great figure, Amr bin Luhay, he actually somehow was a leader for the people of in Mecca. And then he was the first to pollute the teaching of Ibrahim. For example, he was the first man to bring inside the idols in Mecca. And then he was the one who implement a certain bid'ah in the religion. Okay, see this ayah. Mana dah? Tak ada lah pula. Ana. Because in Surah Al-Ma'idah, Surah Al-Ma'idah, I show you. Al-Ma'idah, where is Al-Ma'idah? Okay. ما جعل الله من بحيرة ولا سائبة ولا وصيلة ولا حام. See, this one. Allah said, ما جعل الله من بحيرة ولا سائبة. Allah has never ordained the so-called bahira, sa'ibah, wasila, the ham camels, but the disbelievers just fabricate lies about Allah, and Muslims are lacking understanding. Okay, what is sa'ibah? This is so actually it is in the tradition of the Arab Jahiliyah, the ham, bahira, sa'iba, wasila, ham. Okay, originally all of these camel, all of these animals is halal for a human being to take a full benefit, to ride them, to eat their flesh, to drink the milk in the beginning. And then that particular man, Amr bin Luhay, he made a new Sharia. He made a new ruling. He said that, okay, if you have something in mind, for example, you make a dua, oh Allah, oh my items, if I manage to go in my trade journey to Sham, a very long journey, and very dangerous and challenging journey, if I manage to go there and return back safe and sound with a profit, I make a promise to you, oh my idols, oh Allah, I will sacrifice, I will buy one big camel, and then I will prohibit myself to take a benefit from this camel. And then by doing that, I name this camel as, for example, Sa'ibah. And then to make sure that people will not use or take a benefit of that particular camel because of that nadar, because of that promise, that particular man, they put a hole on the ears of the camel, and then they hang something on the camel, and then they wrote on the camel, this is, for example, Sa'ibah. Whenever people during that time, so, oh, what is that? The long, the huge camel, but there is something on the ears, as if the earring written Sa'ibah. Sa'ibah haram. We cannot take a full benefit of this Sa'ibah because it is dedicated for Allah subhanahu for the idols. Even though originally this one particular camel is halal, because Allah say, what is on this earth, on this world, is for your use. And then came Amr bin Luhai, and then he fabricated the new Sharia, the new rulings. No, it is haram. And then people following him. Because of that, Allah felt very angry of Amr bin Luhai. Why? Because he somehow challenged Allah in making something halal or haram. To make lawful or to prohibit something is right of Allah alone. Okay, I show you another bid'ah created by musyrikin Quraisy. Yes, saya tukar dulu. Actually very interesting. The bid'ah. Dia orang ni buat bid'ah. Memang pelik-pelik punya bid'ah. Mana dia? Bid'ah alone. Di sini. Pada faziran tadi. Ya. Tengok, see? Okay, this is among the bid'ah, among the innovation created by Amr bin Luhai. So that is why Rasulullah was being inspired by Allah. Rasulullah saw Amr bin Luhai inside the hell, dragging his bowels, because he is the first who to challenge Allah by creating this bid'ah. See? وَقَالُوا هَذِهِ أَنْعَامٌ. They say, who is they? Who are they? They here is the people of Arab, Jahiliyyah in Mecca. Why? Because they listen to Amr bin Luhai. They say, these cattle and crops are reserved. None may eat them except those we permit. So they claim. Some other cattle are exempted from labor, and others are not slaughtered in Allah's name. Falsely attributing lies to him, he will repay them for their lies. And then another bid'ah, they, the people of Mecca, following Amr bin Luhai, they also say the offsprings of this cattle is reserved only for our male and forbidden for our female. You know what? Because originally anything related to the cattle is halal for everybody, because Allah said so. Allah said, "Huwa alladhi khalaqa lakum." Allah, those who created everything in this world, is for you. Then came Amr bin Luhai and his followers. They created a new rulings on the camel, and they said, this camel reserved only for our male, whereas for the females, you are forbidden to use, to eat, to drink the milk of this camel, or to took the benefit of this camel. And then he said, but if it is stillborn, they may all share. Okay, this is among the bid'ah. When you are talking about bid'ah, created by the people during the time of Jahiliyyah, before the time of Rasulullah, these are the ayah. Yeah? These are the ayah. Inshallah, I will later explain this ayah in our next session. Next session about the bid'ah among the Arab. So that is why it is very important for us to know that this main concept. It is Allah's right, none others. Okay, there was a story. There was a story. Okay, this is a story. Adi bin Hatim reported. Adi bin Hatim was that? Actually, he's the king of his people. And then after Rasulullah migrated to Medina, he felt threatened by the existence of Rasulullah. And then he left his people to his people to the Roman Empire, if I'm not mistaken. And then after that, he came to Rasulullah, and then he said, I came to the Prophet, peace and blessings, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, while I had a crucifix, the cross, kata macam apa, salib, salib min dhahab around my neck. The Prophet said, oh Adi, remove this idol from yourself. And then he said, I heard Rasulullah recited this ayah. اتخذوا أحبارهم ورهبانهم أربابا من دون الله. And they, people of the book, Christian and Jews, they have taken the priests and rabbis as lords beside Allah. Allah mentioned this ayah. And then Rasulullah explained this ayah. What is the meaning of this ayah? Because in another narration, in another riwayah, when Rasulullah recited this ayah, the people of the book, the Christian or the Jews, They worship, they taken the priests and rabbis as Lord beside Allah, as if they are worshiping them. And then Adi bin Hatim defended, rebuted, or rejected this ayah. And then he said to to our Holy Prophet, "Oh Muhammad, I am Christian. I never worship our priests, our ulama, our rabbis. It is nonsense. This is such a huge, a bad accusation from Allah, from the Holy Quran." And then Allah Rasulullah explained, "Amma innahum lam yakunu ya'budunhum." As for them, they did not worship them, but rather, when they made something lawful for them, they consider it lawful. When they made something unlawful for them, they consider it unlawful. This is the problem. So it is not your right. This is Allah's right. So that is why Allah mentioned this ayah. اتخذوا أحبارهم ورهبانهم أربابا من دون الله. They have taken the rabbis and the priests as lords instead of God. Why? The moment the rabbis and the priests say something halal, even though originally it is mentioned in the book of Allah, in Torah, Injil, it is haram, they say no, it is halal, vice versa. And then abiding, following the instruction without asking, and then just a mere blind following, it becomes as if you are worshiping the human being. Because as I say, the right to make something halal and haram is Allah's right alone. We are not permissible to do so. Because when discussing verse ayah, there are many ayah. For example, in Surah Al-Ma'idah, Surah Al-Ma'idah. Surah Al-Ma'idah, ya, 60. قالت اليهود يد الله مغلولة غلت أيديهم. Sudah masalah kita hafal ayat tapi tak hafal nombor ayat. Waktu saya hafal, kita hafal Quran ini dia dalam mind kita ada pages. Jadi nak kena cari mana pages. Kena mind. Okay, this is okay. Okay, oh Messenger of Allah, do not agree for those who raise to disbelief. Who raise to disbelief. There are two types of people. The first one, the hypocrites and the Jews of Medina. Okay, those who say we believe with the tongue, but their hearts are in disbelief. Nor those among the Jews who eagerly listen to lies, attentive to those who are too arrogant to come to you. Okay, they distort the scripture. Okay, taking ruling out of context. This is important. Taking rulings out of context. Then they say, if this is the ruling you get from Muhammad, accept it. If not, beware. Okay, the story behind this ayah is that when the moment Rasulullah migrated to Medina, some laymen, people of some Jewish of Medina, they were thinking, is it the right last prophet has been promised by our book, Muhammad, or not? And then something happened. A young man committed adultery. This couple committed adultery, sex out of marriage. And then they went to see the rabbis, the priests, the ulama. Okay, we caught these two committing adultery, committing sex or zina. So what should we do for them? And or should we go to Muhammad because he is a newly appointed president of Medina, and we heard that he is a prophet. And then the priest of Medina, the priest of Jewish of Medina, they said to these people, okay, you can go to see Muhammad, but make sure that the ruling is this one. If he gives you a ruling other than this one, you should accept and should reject the rulings. Why? Because originally, those who committed adultery in Torah from the time of Prophet Musa alayhi salam, the ruling is for those who commits the adultery, they will be punished by stoning to death. So that is the original form. And then in the beginning, when people commit adultery, they were stoned to death. And then after that, the family of the nobleman, the rich man, the nobleman, most of them committed the adultery, and then they went to see to implement the punishment from the rabbis, from the ulama, and then the ulama think that if we say that you should stone your children or anybody from the noble family committing zina, by stoning them, it is not good for our future career. It is not good for our future career development, because we need somehow, we need their support. And then because of that, they changed the ruling. Instead of stoning them to death, they changed the ruling, become, oh, we have the alternative way based on our ijtihad. Even though the ijtihad, the opinion on the ruling is go against Torah, the original ruling of Torah, from the time of Prophet Musa alayhi salam. They said, okay, we have the alternative way to punish those who commit adultery. What are these? Do we have to put, apa ni kita kata, agang we have to we have to color their face in black, and then we have to humiliate them in front of the people. And then there was the ruling, the change ruling from the original one, that been used by the Jews of Medina. And then when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam came to Medina, and then the same issue happens, they went to see Rasulullah, and then the priest of Medina said beforehand, if you go to see Muhammad, and then if Muhammad said these are the ruling which is similar to our word, our change word, so you accept that. But if Muhammad say otherwise, if Muhammad say other than our ruling, to humiliate those who commit zina, so you don't have to listen to Muhammad. This is among the crime did by the priest of the priest of Jews in Medina. Why? Because they changed the original ruling. By doing that, they are somehow challenging Allah, because the third concept here, as I said earlier, to make lawful or to prohibit something is the right of Allah alone. We shouldn't interrupt, we shouldn't interfere this border, because if you are doing so, you are somehow raging Allah's apa kita kata, you somehow invite Allah's rage on you. Allah akan marah, murka. So that is why this concept is very important as introductory information in our first session. To make lawful or to prohibit something is the right of Allah alone, not yours, not your mufti, not your wali. It is only for Allah. If you are doing so, as if you are following the shaitan. If you are doing so, you should be afraid of the calamities, of the problem faced by Amr bin Luhai, because he was the one who changed the original religion of Ibrahim. Then because of that, see, in this hadith, Rasulullah saw him dragging his bones in the hellfire. Allahu Akbar. And then even though, if someone say, okay, this is halal, even though the original ruling is haram, you have to follow the original ruling, even though those who said so is the imam, the wali, or the muftis. So that is the concept that we need to put in our mind. Okay. Okay, that is all for tonight. 9:30. We open for discussion. If you have something, because I was given 1 hour and then 15 minutes for the Q&A. So the remaining content, the exploration of halal standard is a noble jihad. Inshallah, we will be discussing that in our next session. But somehow people say, because in our discussion just now, al-asl fil ashya, the sphere of halal is very vast, very wide. So logically, we shouldn't put the halal logo, the halal standard. We should put haram standard, because haram is far, the halal is far more outnumbers the haram. Ada yang kata, logically, it's not the halal logo, the halal label,
This is the haram level. Why? Because halal our number haram. Why do we need, you see, the people say, how do we need halal standard? It is logic to emphasis on haram standard. And we have the answer for that. Inshallah, we discuss in our next session. Allah. Okay.
All right.
Any
Thank you,
question?
Ustaz. So now we move on to the Q&A session. So before we start our Q&A session, I would like to ask cooperation from all participants to fill in the feedback form that has been shared in the chat box. So participants, if there is any question to the speaker, please unmute your mic to ask the speaker. And if you're shy, you can also use the chat box features to ask the question.
I am really happy if you don't have question.
Any question?
Tak ada lah tu soalan tu, Alhamdulillah.
Ustaz, I just want to ask short question, but you also can answer it in short. I just want to ask the general perspective of
Okay.
yours. So about I really interested in bid'ah and khuraf things that you shared about the history. So so in your perspective, in Malaysia, this Malaysia has the risk to incline to the khurafat doing largely like our neighbor country. So and what our role as a students to purify the knowledge, to purify the
Dah tahu.
yes the people. That's the question.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Bid'ah is the enemy of Sunnah. Bid'ah, the innovation, a new invention in religion, is the main enemy of Sunnah. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay, I just remember one story. When the dream is not considered as part of our the source of our region, but it somehow shows something. Muhammad ibn Sirin. You can read this story in Siyar A'lam An-Nubala. Siyar A'lam An-Nubala, actually the book written by Imam Al-Dhahabi, the scholar of Hadith. In this book, he compiled the stories of the Salafus Saleh, the past generation. Okay, Muhammad ibn Sirin, the Tabi'in, and the students of Sahaba. Muhammad ibn Sirin somehow, he is very popular with his ability to interpret dream. Okay, one time, this one man came to see him. And then he said, last night, or repeatedly, a few nights before, I had the same dream. I had the same dream. I am bringing or accompanying people carrying the corpse of Rasulullah atau mayat Rasulullah, and then we buried them somewhere. I saw in my dream repeatedly, I together with my friend holding or carrying the corpse or the jasad for Rasulullah, and then we buried it somewhere. And then Imam Muhammad ibn Sin said to him, it is really right, because there was a reminder from Allah. Because previously you used to come to us, learn hadith, sit with us, learn hadith, doing the sunnah. And then after that, you are attracted to follow Ahlul Bid'ah, those who create many innovations in religion. So if you are doing that, it is really right. Allah somehow inspire you, something showing that you, as if you are following those who are involved in bid'ah, as if you are bearing the sunnah of Rasulullah. So what the point is that we have to really aware that we have to hold strong on the sunnah, and then avoid ourselves from involving in the bid'ah or any innovation. Okay, in the meantime also, together with the bid'ah is khurafa superstition. How to avoid ourselves from involving in khurafa? Of course, you have to learn your religion. You have to purify your tawheed. You have to learn everything about tawheed. Tawheed is not about memorizing the 6 pillar of iman. Rukun iman ada 6, beriman pada Allah, believe in Allah, in the hereafter. No, you have to go deeper into every single concept of tauhid in that pillars of iman, regardless you are following using sifat 20 ke ataupun tauhid 3 ke, you have to be careful, because if you are really internalizing the meaning of tauhid, you will put aside the khurafah, because Allah is the only being, or Allah is the only supreme power that controls everything. He will never apa kita kata privatize his lordship or his power to any other creatures. For example, people tend to believe that certain stone or certain item or materials has the power to do that and to do this. And we say, if you are talking about that using science with proof of evidence, it's okay. We believe in you. But if you say that a mere claim, no. For example, in the past, in Malaysia, if I'm not mistaken, around 2000 something, a very good business. People sell kayu coca. Kayu coca, this the wood, kayu coca.
The wood.
Kayu coca, and then believe that this kayu coca is a fearful creature created by Allah to chase away, away the shaitan. And then by keeping this kayu coca in your house is enough for you. No need for you to recite any dua. No need for you to recite any dua. This is shirk. Why? Because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, in order to protect yourself from any harm, internal or external, you have to rely only in Allah. And then you have to recite Ayatul Kursi. You have to recite this dua, this dua. By reciting Ayatul Kursi or certain dua been taught by Rasulullah, it is not a mere dua. It is not only a mere verses of Al-Quran. It contains the meaning which somehow brings you to the declaration that Allah is the only Lord, the only superpower that will protect you. But if you believe in such khurafah, superstition, kayu koka, the stone, anything lah, as if you say that Allah is no longer in power because he privatized or delivers some of his powers to the mere creature. But people who are believing in superstition, they try to justify this. No. Kayu koka, this special wood, they say, this special wood somehow very scientific. The belief in this special wood is very scientific because Allah created everything with purpose. For example, Allah created oxygen and hydrogen in different part of this world, different position. But if you put together hydrogen and oxygen, become waters. Similarly applies to kayu koka, because this is a special wood. This is a special wood that Allah created, has the power to chase away the shaitan. As if you are similarly happened to Panadol. If you believe that Panadol is the one who cure you, you are making shirk. But if you see that Panadol somehow given by Allah certain element in it to cure the fever, so it is okay. Similarly apply to kayu koka, they say. And then how do we rebuke? We reject this argument. We say that if you say so, you have to prove, scientifically proven. For example, Panadol, it is being brought to the lab, and then they have a certain research, and then they attain certain level to verify the finding from the research. But your claim on kayu koka is a mere claim. You have to distinguish between these two arguments. So by doing that, inshallah, Islam is always parallel with science. So that is why our anthem, UAE, revelation and reason. So it is very scientific. I like that. Allah Alam.
Alright, thank you, Ustaz. So is there any question?
Assalamualaikum, Brother Chairman.
Yeah,
For the Ustaz, I have one question.
Okay. Cik
There is
Razi.
one,
Dr. Cik Razi. Aduh. Okay.
Ustaz, if not mistaken, there is one hadith. I'm not sure the authenticity of the hadith. About to make a iftar or fatwa with your heart. I know
It's
you.
sign of craziness, huh?
Is it? Can we say, for example, today we have a lot of new restaurants, new what do you call it? Product from, especially from the overseas, when they open their restaurant in Malaysia. So our people, they wanted to try it, and there is no halal logo yet at that particular restaurant. So they say that can we do it, make a fatwa with our heart with regard to that? That's my question, Ustaz. Thank you.
Okay. This is high level question. Although Dr. Chirazi, he has the answer, but he would like to maybe share the thought with all of us here by asking me the question. A very brilliant mind. Okay, never mind. That particular hadith, first we have to check on the authenticity of the hadith. Even though if the hadith, okay, I say, because I do not know in particular the status of the authenticity of the hadith, but in particular, if the hadith, we make a scenario here, if the hadith was authentic, still it need to be interpreted or understood in a proper way. Why? Because if you learn hadith, to know the matan, to know the hadith is one thing. If hadith is authentic, one thing. But in order to understand the hadith is another skill. So in the hadith we learn matnul hadith, and then we know what fiqhul hadith in order to understand the hadith. So if you are doing that, for example, if that particular hadith is authentic, okay, and then you can just ask yourself, make a fatwa, ask your heart whether this new premise, new food in town is halal or not. Okay, never mind, you just go there, then you ask yourself, because hadith say, if you feel something, then you ask yourself, make your own fatwa, asking your heart. But in the meantime, you yourself is very ignorant, do not know about Islam. How can you ask yourself as a fatwa? And then so during that part, to the extent, so that is why in my slide, inshallah, for the next session, I will discuss on that about the exploration of halal standard is a noble jihad. Why? Because even though this new restaurant provide a good menu, but we need to go for halal standardization, because halal is about making sure everything is related to the food is halal from the beginning, from the farm until your table. So the exploration of halal standardization is very important. So in short, I can say that even though if we say that hadith is authentic, but you are not in the position to make fatwa on yourself, you have to refer to the authority, because the authority which consist of many experts in their different area of expertise somehow will help you to assist you or to guide you. Allah Alam.
So any other question from participants?
Cukup dah tu, tak ada dah tu. Dah 9:45 dah.
Alright.
Boleh rembang lah insyaAllah.
Alright, inshallah. So our Tadabbur session has come to the end. Thank you all for your cooperation during the session. So before we move on, I would like all participants to open up their camera for photography session. So open your camera, guys, for photography.
Hello, thank you so much, Ustaz, for the great sharing. Can't wait to see you on the next session. So I will take a picture of us together. So everyone, you are advised to open your camera. Right. I'll start taking picture. Right. 1, 2, 3. Next. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Already so many slides. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right. That's all. So I pass back to Irfan.
Alright, thank you, Sister Amira. So our session has come to the end. So thank you for the speaker for the insightful sharing. For the participants, do not forget to join us for upcoming Tadabbur session, Tadabbur episode 2. We will provide the best topic and speaker for us to indulge while nurturing our soul with quality content. Hope to see you all in the next month for episode 2. Do not miss it or you will regret it. So till then, I will close our session with Tasbih Kafarah and Suratul As. Tasbih Kafarah wa Suratul As. Right, thank you all. Till then.
وشكرك وحسن عبادتك اللهم أعني على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك Ya Allah, bantulah aku dalam mengingatimu, mensyukuri nikmatmu dan beribadah baik padamu. Ya Allah, bantulah aku dalam mensyukuri nikmatmu dan beribadah baik padamu. Allahumma a'inni ala dzikrika wa syukrika wa husni ibadatika Allahumma a'inni ala dzikrika wa syukrika wa husni ibadah